How do the independent contractors, self-employed, small businesses of all nature, medium to large, get up to $2 million plus incredibly fast business funding without collateral, no hard credit checks, bad credit is acceptable, and lower documentation, as well as 0% interest for 6 to 18 months, up to 150, if not 250,000 in business credit cards to liquidate the cash out of and use for several investment purposes. Hi, welcome in. This is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who helps out a lot of businesses get the right type of financing in the right type of vehicle under the right type of strategic partnership and roadmap. I've been doing this for such a long time as a professional expert. And unlike those other people out there, organizations, perhaps lenders, brokers, agents, those referral partners, you have to be very wary and careful about going through them because they may not know their stuff and they may just get quote unquote lucky trying to bait and switch you, overpromise, underdeliver, emailing you, texting you, phone calling you, and doing all of these things that you're like, who? Are they even trustworthy and reliable? Why should I turn to them? Give me a better reason why I should go get business funding and loan of any nature through you. So let's get right into things. The self-employed independent contractors. I just released a video. I went live today on the YouTube channel. You guys can go watch it. The full video is already up on the screen. I'm actually looking at my laptop as we speak, and the video right there showing that I went live today. So if you guys would like to see that one after this video, please refer to the bio. Maybe you're watching this on YouTube now as it's uploaded, maybe on the replay or elsewhere. But if you go to the bio, click that link, then you can go through any of those options. I think one of them will, or a couple of them you click on will take you to my YouTube channel for a specific video. And you'll get to understand not only for the self-employed, independent contractors, 1099 Schedule C, but 1120 and everything else, S Corp, LLC, C Corp. You'll get all that information from me there. 1 second, I have something that I want to bring up on the screen here because I may use it as guidance. There it is. A document that I put together that may detail a little bit of the stuff we'll go into. So whether you are a sole proprietor, an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, any other type of entity, it is available for you to get financing. A lot of lenders are lenient on letting sole proprietors, Schedule C, 1099, independent contractors get equal type of a look as somebody who has an LLC, C Corp, S Corp. Now, there are more advantages, especially if we're talking about something that's building your business credit and getting an application in for business credit cards. That gives you more room that I've seen when I made that transition. So yeah, you can get equally looked at. Now, there are different revenue brackets that I won't cover in this video because my video, if you guys go watch from the one I did live today, shares with you on the screen like what are the different revenue brackets, how much should I be making to expect this amount of money, how should I get better prepared to even walk into an application with 110% confidence and certainty. At any moment, if you guys have questions, please voice them in the comment section. I'd like to hear from you. Let me know. Where are you tuning in from? How's your day going? Are you out of work, preparing for the holidays, on vacation? I know a lot of lenders. I just talked to one of them, a couple of them actually today, and they're out of office, a few underwriters, and everybody on my team, a lot of them are taking early leaves and they're going out on vacation. Anything fun happening? Anything cool about to happen? What do you have going on this weekend? Who are you spending it with? And so forth. So again, I have my document out in front of me, but the whole video is already released. Now, that 0% interest, as I mentioned earlier, for 6 to 18 months, that is a business credit card stacking program where you will want to add multiple business credit cards on top of one another and then get the most amount of limits from them. And then you can increase those limits in about 3 to 6 months, depends on that credit card issuer. And then you can come back and get additional funding. And then on top of that, you can add a loan. I speak to people all the time, and this may sound redundant if you guys have been here in the past. Some of the stuff that I'm already saying, you may have already caught on to. And there's a lot more deeper stuff that we're not going to jump into too much in this video. I can go deeper. I did that a little bit yesterday on the different offers that people receive. And if you got a decline, why is it that you got a decline? And how I can share that with you. So that video, I don't think I've uploaded it already, but I will upload it. Maybe I did. I'll upload it one of these days. And so you guys can go in there and see what happens at each stage. So if you're in the start of the application to the point of it being underwritten, and then at that point when you have an offer and a few more things. We're not talking about car loans at this time. I know that's something people want to know, but we're going to be strictly basing this off on business loans per se, not car auto loans. Now, if it's an equipment loan for your business, that's a bit different. Car loans, I mean, we can get into the personal loan, car loans, and that a little bit later or another time, but I want to stay focused on the topic at hand. And this is about business funding, business loans, and making sure you get your entity set up correctly, all types of business financing. So, and it could be an auto loan for business. I get that. Maybe you want to restructure the way you ask that question, but when you think about auto loans, it could be for a personal use. Now, there are a lot of different financing services for the self-employed, the independent contractors. So I want to list a few of them right now that are very attractive right now in the market. But before that, the banks, let's get that out of the way. The banks are having a hard time lending, like even past 2 to 3 years right now. They're not even trying to get to 36 months. So that's why the private lender route is becoming more attractive. And another thing too that I'm going to start seeing more of, it's going to be crazy next year. Even the beginning of January, it's going to be even more evident because the banks are looking at this more closely now in January, that they're going to start pulling away funding and loans from people. Even the lump sums, the lines of credit more than anything, because if you're not using it, they want you to use it more frequently, not even once a month, not even once a year, so you can have it activated, but more so on you using it. And they might put a number on it. They might say, hey, you have a 200,000 line of credit. You've only used 10,000 in the last 6 months. We got to pull that. You got to give it to somebody who will use it. So you're going to see them starting to pull away funding from people and then charging more. And they're going to start focusing on more businesses that are generating closer to 10 million, 40 million, 50 million, 300 million. They're going to start focusing on more than just the 1 to 10 million range. They're going to start focusing on a lot of that 10 to 100 million and above. Some of them, yeah, they will focus on a million to 10 million. I won't say they won't focus on that, and some of that below that. But it's going to be much harder to lend to you if you're not at that 10 million, more like 20 to 40 million and above mark. That's what they want to start focusing on more on those businesses. That's why they're going to start pulling away. So be very careful. There are alternatives. Let me go into, it's not a gosh, okay. It's a yes, because you know you're in this content. If you didn't hear me say it in the beginning, I can understand. But this is content on business loans, business funding. We can chat it up about that. We can chat it up about digital marketing. If I went in so many different directions, guys, like I got to make sure that I'm catering and I'm putting enough efficient time into each person on this specific topic. And I know you're joking. Understood. Thank you. And so some of those services now that you're looking at away from the banking, and there's more I can go into banking, there's a place for it. Like if you go get an SBA loan, yes, a bank loan can work, but even then it's harder. The underwriting is just mundane, the credit committees, and there's more. There's a lot more. And then over here you have another online bank or another digital bank, non-banking SBA lender, preferred lender. Now, over here, the underwriting, and this might be all they focus on. So they have the team. We have the experts who we focus on and go, once I collect documents, I send it over to underwriting to the lender. Everything gets overlooked. Everything goes through the underwriting. Then that gets sent back to me. And then I can supply you with the term sheet. I can supply you with more questions that SBA lender is asking for. That is not as strict, I guess you want to use the word strict, but it is because it's an SBA government-backed loan. And so what I would say is it's not as, I guess, intensive in every department of credit. It would be the questions being asked, the term sheet you will get and receive from myself and or my team, usually it's from me, and quite a bit more. But you have that SBA loan at the very top that everybody wants, even in more of a sole proprietor format. But everything that you want to have, normally what they look at is that you have to have a form of business credit established. They'll look at it and say, do you have at least a 150, if not 155 FICO SPSS business liquid credit? And that's for more SBA 7(a) loans from 350 to about 5 million. But that can be overwritten when you have stronger credit. You may have like pushed down business credit, but your FICO credit just overly extends and it makes up for all that clean credit history. So then you go, okay, you don't have that FICO SPSS score, so we can meet that. Express loans, it could be less, 125 to 115, maybe more or less. Sometimes, again, that's overwritten, but it's harder at that level because your credit, you can get in with the 650. You might not have a 700 and above. And then there's so much more. So aside from the SBA loans, SBA 7A, 504, you have the microloans, more so for grant opportunities, the Community Advantage program. That's a little bit harder to get into. There are some credit requirements, I would say, personally and in business. And then there are a few more, like the 8A mentoring lump sums you have for other SBA, and then lines of credit, cap line programs. Underneath the cream of the top, and I'm working backwards, that's how my brain works, systematically and mathematically. So I like to reverse engineer. So from the top, you have the SBA loans. Right underneath that, you could be seeing a difference in each one of these places, but you have the business, well, I'll say collateralized options. Because you can collateralize under an SBA loan. You don't have to. They won't always look at that and to accept you with it. But underneath that, you have an asset-based financing solution. So you can offer up heavy equipment or other forms of equipment that we can give, a title, whatever you have there. We have the real estate side. What do you have invested? What do you have in equity? What do you have perhaps in liquidity? For those of you who have an extended amount of liquidity, you have a lot of cash on hand, and you're trying to collateralize or you're trying to use cash to get the funding that you need. A lot of lenders don't want that. They don't want you to provide them with like $1 million or $500,000 that you have reserved. It just, you never know. Where would you have that cash in a week? You may say you still have it, but what if that cash goes away? What if something bad happens and now the cash isn't on hand and now you ended up, how can we collect the money? And it's just a bigger process for the lender to go through. You have accounts receivables, meaning unpaid invoices. You give up to an invoice factoring company because you get paid on terms. You have inventory financing, stocks and bonds, mutual funds, and there's quite a little bit more. And the question of it is, do you really want to go to a bank and collateralize your home, put a lien on your property? They ask for other forms of real estate collateral that they're looking for. That's not sufficient enough. We don't want this. So be very careful. The opportunity cost of not collateralizing it is that you don't have to put that on the line. Now, there are usually personal guarantees involved, so you have to understand that. And that's just the case with anything, even with business credit cards to begin with, if you don't have that room. You want to start your own business, Sue? Welcome in. What kind of business? And so what I say to that is make sure that you understand the opportunity cost. What is your trade-off if you don't collateralize? If you have a non-collateralized lender, it's based on revenue-based financing, meaning all revenue. There are traditional merchant cash advances. There are revenue-based financing. There's two different ones, hybrids and non-hybrids. And so when we look at all revenue coming into your business, we're less concerned with collateral. We're not looking to take on a home, a piece of real estate, whatever it is. You could say, hey, I have it, but I would be more comfortable not putting that on the line. I have a few things I need to do first. But let's look at a term loan. Let's look at a line of credit and or a cash advance or an advance of any sort. And we go, okay, you do qualify for this term loan. It's an intermix of a term loan and an advance. That's usually what happens in this space. And it's based on all revenue, not just credit card statements or transactions that we can be given as statements on their own, not underneath their bank statements because you see credits and deposited. But a lot of the times we won't ask for it, even if you do accept that a lot. But we're going to go ahead and say, hey, just looking at your bank statements, your 3 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 12, if it's more seasonal and it's an industry, we have to look at more bank statements. I say, when I look at them, because they come to me the majority of the time, and I'm looking at their depositing, their starting, ending bank balances, I don't want to just see that. I want to look to make sure that the name and everything looks the way it needs to at the top. How have you listed your address? Are you using a home address for your corporation? Are you using a business address? You should be using a business address, guys. Now, if you're a 1099, which is the topic of this conversation, 1099, self-employed, independent contractor, Schedule C, whatever you can list it at, then you just have to be careful because you're going to be using a personal checking account the majority of the time. Go get a business checking account. Personal checking account, there's only one lender really out there who's going to look at your file with not even pre-revenue, but you have some revenue. You have at least $3,000 a month. So at $3,000 a month, the gig workers, independent contractors, self-employed, at this stage, if you don't do $5,000 and above, at $3,000 minimum in the last 3 months, they're going to lend about 10 to 20 or 20 to 25%. More sometimes 10 to 25%. So that's what ends up happening in that direction. So that's one part of the equation that you don't have to collateralize. Now, there are different tiers of financing at 15 to 25,000. Hey, Bob. So I got to get back to your email. I know that I've been busy today. I've been having to send people to my lender today because they are at closing. So they are expecting their funds. Some of them will be deposited already, actually. And then a few more of them in a couple of next hours. So they've been contacting me. I had to do some LinkedIn stuff recently. I finally got to do what I had to do today because I couldn't do it yesterday. But just so you know, I mean, I've been trying to communicate. And then this is not just for one person, but a majority of people that I've been trying to help that, hey, I've been giving that information. Now it's up to you, those past emails, if you are going to take that necessary change in that next step. Like, I can send you a service. I can tell you this and that. I'm not going to butter you up. But if there's no action that's taken, it's like it's another email, it's another email, it's another email. It's like it should not be another email. It should be like the other person the other day. They were doing about 10 to 12,000 a month. They didn't qualify. They were gonna ask for the contracts. They had to cancel the contracts because they found something in their credit at that point. They said, nope, sorry, your DTI, your debt obligations, you maybe have charge-offs, bankruptcies, a few things that just recently just started showing up. We don't want to deal with that. Go take care of that. If it's positive or negative, shouldn't be on there. Go dispute it, and I can help with the form of credit repair. So when I tell business owners that, hey, there's no way you're going to qualify for this service, like, I get it that you are not in a position to. So you're taking on so much in your business just to stay afloat. But I mean, there's got to be a better concrete plan for each and every one of you guys. And so don't go into business without a plan, or don't go into a funding service. And when you get the information, just, ask about it. Be like, okay, or don't ask. Say, hey, Michael, I know I got to get to a 680 FICO. Hey, Michael, I know I got to get to a 700 FICO. Takes that pressure off of me and that time and energy. So it's like, I don't want to necessarily not comment or email. It's just, hey, you get it, you get it. You get it, you don't. So it's like, this is what I got to do. This is my next step. Our next point of communication should be this. It shouldn't be that. I'm a very punctual, disciplined person, guys. Like, when I tell people, I literally mean it. That, hey, like, I have an investor friend. Like, the next point of his contact should not be a call to me. It should be a text message saying, Michael, we will get this submitted by then and then. Boom. It shouldn't be, hey, Michael, I'm working on it. Hey, Michael, I'm going to get this submitted from her in about a day. That should be our next point of communication with certain people. So we have different portions of communication. I don't want to have to be, like, going back like 10 different steps. Right now I'm waiting on a certain client. I think he's out of office. He hasn't looked at it or responded to my emails because I'm sure he's out, or he's just probably really busy. But I need to get information from him that the SBA lender is requiring. And this is a situation where, hey, this should have been filled out and you did not fill it out. And now the lender's coming back to me to say, hey, why didn't you fill this column out? It's like very obvious you left it unfilled. Like, I don't have to say that, do I? It's common sense. So be a business owner. Step away from your business. If that's all you do, take time to be the person who corrects those things and make sure all the documentation is submitted correctly, because we don't want to have to revisit this over and over. Now you're thinking, hey, Michael, when's the next update? How about you would have updated me and would have sent that to me a week ago, so we're not a week late or 2 weeks late, and now you're asking me for a quick update? Like, that doesn't work, especially with certain services. So you have to be patient with me. That's what every business owner who goes into business is thinking about, this, the money. I don't think like that. I think about value. I think about entrepreneurship and what I've had to go through and endure. I never made my first dollar. Like, closer to a year, I made my first 18 cents because I was building and I wasn't tired. I was building. So be able to delay instant gratification. Don't rush into it. So for every business owner, I know traditional brick and mortar, I got to make $1 starting tomorrow. I got to make $1. And then you're like corroding. You're just in days, you're just going to be wondering, what was I doing? So I always try to do things structurally where I look back, like tomorrow, I'll look back on the day and do in what I said here. And I go, yes, I did that correctly. And I was at an 8 out of a 10. I wasn't at my best. I was here at a 9 out of 10. But then here I was a 10 out of 10. Or here I was at a 5 out of 10. I still have my own slip-ups. Don't think I'm perfect. But I've worked on all of this. So it's no excuse. So I will try to respond back to the email. Not at the moment. I've had it like 20 questions. I've had people ask me that like today, like 20 times. I will start getting back on it. I know I went away from it because I didn't really use it as much. And I had groups, but I just really wasn't getting on there too much. But I may get back on WhatsApp if it's more convenient to you guys, because I've been seeing that a lot. Not everybody has Facebook Messenger, they have WhatsApp, or they have a few other things, but, or, you know, it's a combination of it, but it will be something, I believe, more in 2023 that I will be leaning in towards more, getting back into. Sue, are you still in here? Probably not. I had asked what kind of business did you want to start? So yeah, you have those services. You have the term loan, like I said, the line of credit if you qualify, the merchant cash advance or the cash advance hybrid. Below the non-revenue based financing products, then you're going to start finding that we get into more of like the personal / startup loan, where you have to have an annual revenue requirement of at least $50,000 for those, and higher credit, 680, 700 and above. But we're looking at your personal side. That's what would we be looking at. Startup loan, similar requirements. Credit line hybrid, now business credit card stacking at 0% interest for 6 to 18 months. Then that's where you start getting into that more. And then underneath that, you know, all together, you're building your business credit with vendor credit. By no means is it the bottom. It could be in the middle or just above. But what most people do is they avoid all of that. Like, I don't need to build business credit. I don't need business credit cards. And then they come to me and expect to get a $500,000, and they don't end up getting it. Maybe they start with less or none. And then they go, how am I going to make it? I really needed more. And then they end up taking out of their advances. They take out of their loans, which you shouldn't be doing too much of the time unless you're growing and expanding at a rapid pace that you can't come back right away to the same lender. So it all comes full circle to you guys. And you have to understand what you're doing at each level. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I'm going to get going in a few minutes. As in, yes, I have your email and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Oh, and you meant as in inside the email. Yeah, I saw a bit of it, like I said, but I haven't been able to respond back. You're not the only one, but you're at the top. So it's not like I'm avoiding it. Like, I can looking through my emails right now. I get flooded, guys. For future big ticket, got it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go back and look into the email when I have a chance. It's 1:29. I'm gonna take a break after this. Maybe come back to doing things. Maybe tonight I can't say I'm gonna give you an answer by tonight because then you have that expectation. And if I don't meet it, you know what I mean? Like, it's the evening. So Thursdays usually I am responding back to questionnaires, getting caught up. I did about 5 of them last night, and I didn't have to take time out of my personal life to do it. But I mean, not a lot was going on, so I did it and I knocked it out in less than about an hour. And it could have taken a bit longer than that, but I had my headphones in, listening to a little bit of music and focusing. Right. Yeah, if that's the direction we need to go to, that's what we need to do. And it's not about avoiding it and going around an issue. It's about cutting through it. And so be it if it's a form of credit repair or something on your financials that needs to be fixed, you're getting it done. And it'll look more attractive, especially when we take it to higher tier lenders. So, like I said, pre-revenue, low revenue, no good credit, no collateral. Like, you put me in a position where it's like you're not getting really anything. And so if it's stronger credit, no revenue, lower time in business, I can work with that as long as your credit looks clean. Maybe it is your credit that's good. And then after that, we would have to do a form of credit repair still. Maybe there's too many inquiries recently in the last 6 months. And that's why people don't get the business financing that they want, because they're shooting up their credit and they don't have the collateral. They don't have the revenue. So, like, why are you asking for money for handouts like an SBA EIDL loan? That's not what this is. And I had a comment somebody on one of my ads that I'm actually running on Facebook for construction. And I have quite a few of other ones. But somebody comments back like, hey, they don't tell you the truth. This is not, they use the word technically funding, but it is a merchant cash advance. Like, he was just being very upfront. Maybe he was just frustrated because he's been let down, or he's been trying to find something that doesn't really exist, but nobody's showing him how. I've been showing him, but it's like people still want to do their own thing. And I gave a long message, not only for him, but for everybody else who sees that ad, to know that I am going to help, and that this is no fluff. Like I know my stuff. And so I commented back, and he hasn't really said much, but I get it. Sometimes it's better to just stay quiet and not open up your mouth. And sometimes you want to express it, but it's not better to be expressed via voice, but express it to yourself. Not everything I believe should be held in, and not everything should be given an opinion to or voice to. Just keep it to yourself. And so instead of asking a question, like most people should ask questions about a specific service or how this works, many people just try to be argumentative and they try to just stir up a debate when that's all they like to do is just stir up debates and arguments and try to be the one who wins. And I'm not for that. I'm not about that. So, sometimes think about it when you ask something or you're going to say something and the response you get back, like, I'm very nice. Somebody else would have obliterated them. And in a way, you can say maybe I did, but I did it in a very nice way, a very nice and concise way. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Thank you. And have a great holiday, too, as well. If you don't hear back from me soon, hopefully I try to get back to you before then, but I'm going to be quite busy. So thanks for hanging in there with me, by the way. I know how things get. So yeah, enjoy your evening, enjoy your afternoon. But I'm going to get going here, guys, in about a minute or two. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to express? Appointments, I may take some of that down here soon, or I might let you guys know if you guys schedule some, because I can't always attend them. The last 3 days have been extremely busy. I'm so busy that I couldn't even get on things like LinkedIn that I had to do. Some of my projects, that's what happens when you have a juice. Some of my projects, I couldn't get them done because I had to attend to clients, and those clients had taken up time. It was justified, but I'm just saying it took more time, and I couldn't snap away from my email, or I couldn't snap away from expecting a text or a phone call to just go do something else and go to my LinkedIn and do a few things, because then I would be multitasking, or I'd have to pause that, and I could at times, but this is what happens. Does anybody else have questions before I get going? I may not be here tomorrow live because I want to save my energy come Saturday, Christmas Eve. I want to be cerebrally energized and mentally and focused. Maybe a little bit, maybe not. But I hope you guys have a great holidays, whatever it is you guys celebrate. Have a happy early New Year's. If I don't, or you don't hear from me live, maybe my content's still out there. And make the best of it. Enjoy your weekend. Go out on vacation if that's what it is. And have fun. Maybe have an adult beverage or two here and there if that's your thing. I may be. Well, that, and then I love the LaCroix. I don't know if we got some LaCroix fans in here, or some of that, that carbonated water per se. And I've been addicted to that kind of stuff. It's really good. For me, it's like a good way to open up the stomach, and it's a great combination with any meal. Well, addiction is a really strong word, but it's in a good way. It's not in a bad way, like I'm drinking one every single second. I'll have it with my meals, and I go, hey, where's that LaCroix, or where's that carbonated water? And it's just a good, like, hit of that. I don't know what it is. It's just something that I enjoy drinking. But I guess that's everything, guys. If some of you got in here just now, I'll give you guys about 30 more seconds if you guys have any questions, because I'm right now at the tail end. I'm getting going. But if somebody comments, I will stick around for a little bit and try to hopefully get out of here before 1:45. $15 more seconds. Oh, and one thing I want to leave you guys with too, spread the word. I don't say that often, but if you guys found value from this or have found value from me or think you can, if this is your first time, for those of you who have been in here, you know. So that way we can get more people who can understand financing, whether they can apply now or not, or can get financing now or later. Just get them the help that they need, because we need an education in this space. And more importantly is to go away from those bad and awful type of organizations, lenders. They overpromise a lot of the time and they underdeliver. With my connections, I work with the best lenders and underwriters, and have been getting people deals this week from 200 to a million, less than 200,000. Really, those going through, and more in the pipeline before the end of December, and more coming in January and next year. And I have more care for people and who they are as a human than you're going to see from other places. And the network you come into with me, the ecosystem, it doesn't get any better than that. And, if we can do this in the least amount of, I guess what the word is, stress or friction or resistance, where I'm not having to age 20 years, because there are some of these clients, not everybody, but or you can say the word deals. You don't really use that word. I don't really like it as much. But who come in and they added an extra 20 to 30 years of my life. So I joked around with a lender not too long ago about that, and he was having a laugh about it. And I go, yeah, I don't want to have to do that. So if we can make it where it doesn't have to be as energy and time derived, I guess, and do this simple, and you're going to know what's happening each step of the way, I'll be there for you. Hi, Aranda. How are you doing? Good question. To get a hold of me, I don't know if you've heard this from me or anybody else in here watching, since I'm at the end now, this is the best way. Before I say that, I have processes, systems, and automations in place. Just think about it. You're a business owner. You can't answer every call. You can't be texting every single second. So I've set up a system like anybody else has. So where you can go to my bio, click the link, first button on that link tree, funding submission form. Second one, real estate form. If it's business funding, click that one. And then you'll come to a landing page where it'll give you two options, startup or non-startup. Select one of the two, and then it'll bring you to my form. Fill out that funding form. It should take you no longer than a minute, but be as accurate. Estimate if you need to, but fill in those fields. I'm not a creditor. If I ask for credit, it's very safe and secure. It's for me to pre-underwrite a file. So whenever I get it, I will evaluate, analyze, and give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options. And right there, literally, you have a question about how the service works or whatever lenders you can and can't qualify for. So you're not asking yourself, I'm going to go find somebody else. I'm going to go shop. You're going to get the best through me. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do when we go through that application. If we do it directly with one, or we do it with multiple, why multiple is actually best and it doesn't hurt your credit. So that's what you want. There's going to be a conclusion and a roadmap at the bottom when I send you back that email. When it comes back to you, when I've fulfilled on putting it together and I send it back, then you can honestly get started from right then and there. I'll say your best funding option is the top one, top two, top three. First one is the one you want to go with. Start here. Here's your plan after. Boom, 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 boom. Documents needed, application link. Usually that's what we give now with lenders, direct, indirect. And that's where you want to go. I'll walk you through the process. You can upload statements into our back portal and we can get it into our office, into our back office, or you can send them to me. I send them over to the lender. Either way, I like to have people send it to me first. I analyze everything, pre-underwrite the file, and then I can send it over to the underwriter. Say, hey, this is legit. This is the right lender I'm going to send it to. I know which lender needs to look at this one. So it's simple. See, we didn't even have to get on a phone call. That whole time, no phone call. It could have just been a whole email, but you didn't even take the time to look at the email. You just wanted a phone call. You just wanted me to baby people. And there's a time and place, but I'm not getting on every phone call with everybody. Not because you're not set up to go get a loan right now. That's not the case. It's just I can't be on that energy and time every single time. Do you guys get me? Does that make sense? I'm not looking down upon anybody or being aggressive or mad or neglecting. It's just I got 3 other businesses I got to run too, but this is the one that I primarily focus on. And so if I'm answering to every phone call, it's harder to. Appreciate you, thank you, and as well for your feedback, because you just said, and remember, I don't know if you've heard me say this, but for those of you who have been in here in the past know what I'm about to say. There are pretenders, then there are action takers. Can you guess which one I am? If you're being silly and thought pretenders, okay. But I'm an action taker. So whenever I tell somebody I'm going to do something, and I even set a time, like, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow in my home office by 3 o'clock, this should be submitted, or at 3 o'clock. You don't always have to be that specific, but a time and a place, and putting that's a form of a habit creation, habit stacking, or other forms of habits that you build, and you set a time and a location to do it. But a lot of people, and I'm not saying you, I know this is something you'll do. I'm not saying you. This is the general public, and this is a wake-up call. Your actions, they speak louder than words. So when I hear somebody tell me they're going to do this, I have to be like, okay, I'm not saying I don't trust you. And if I know you better, then it's like, okay, now I know that you will do that. There's a different level there. But when people say something and they do another, I don't got time for that. I don't got energy for that. And I am the best at what I do, just so you know this. With me, you're going to get the best. Now, that's up to you. If once you fill out that questionnaire, like, this is another part. You fill out that questionnaire and you disappear, don't even do it. Like, you fill out that questionnaire and you're just going to go out there and you're going to do your own thing, see if your credit gets shopped around. I just helped out a guy get a $200,000 advance, term loan to them, where they were given $150 somewhere else. Better lender closing fee, better terms, better amount, better financial plan in the future, all because they came to me. And they'll be a testament, and they'll be able to say, yeah, this is the guy because of my network, because who I can communicate with my underwriters, A tier, B tier, C tier, plus tier lenders. Those other organizations, you only see them a lot because they're running ads. And I'm not saying I don't run mine, but they have like an advertising budget of hundreds upon thousands per month. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be able to do that, but it's just like, why would I want to do that? And they're just trying to send you into their online marketplace, so then that way they can send your information to all these other third parties. You don't even know what's happening. You're like, what the heck? Or you're like thinking it will, but you're just, I don't want that. I don't want to get calls. I'm fed up already with it. Michael, please help. And I will definitely be there for you in person and in business, And again, I go the distance for people who are there for me. And if I'm asking for feedback, just a little simple word. It doesn't even have to be a sentence sometimes, but you didn't show up. It's like, sorry, your file. Where were you 2 weeks ago? You're right here now. I have to help out these people. Sorry. There's people right now who do 2 to 3 million, 4 million a month with me. And it's like, you backstabbed me, or you went in a different direction. Maybe you didn't know any better. So there's a little bit of leniency, but you know more. Come on, you should know better. And so sometimes it's not like I will never respond back to them, and I'll take more time to respond back to them, because now it's like, I'm not rushing to send you a message because it shows that you backstabbed me, or I didn't do anything to you to deserve this, and now you came to me. It's because it all comes back to one thing, and I told this to my credit repair guy today. Like, don't worry if people come to you and they say they're going to do something and don't do it, because it's happened to me. And those are people who are characteristically flawed. What I mean by that is, I'm not saying you or anybody in here, but just to the general public. And if you have this, it hurts. It should hurt, because if it doesn't hurt, it's not enough for you to change. And so I may be somebody who I'm not like this. I'm just saying as an example. Let's just say somebody has this. They're stubborn. They have an ego. They're egotistical. They are just stubborn and not patient, and like, hey, what do you got to do to do this? And it's like, where'd you go? It's like, this is how you're going to be now. This is how you're going to be treating me, or this is how you're going to be acting with all of this frustration. And it's fine that you have that, but it's like, when we're in here, I'm going to need to hear this, or I'm going to need this, know this from you if I ask for it. And I have to know at least that you're not going to be doing something you shouldn't be doing. And now you go off in a different direction. You go on vacation, and you go, hey, Michael, what do you mean? Don't you think it's kind of obvious that you should have at least let me know you were going on vacation? You never said anything about going on a vacation, or you never told me about this, never told me about that. Now I got to do more work on my back end. You guys got to put yourself in my shoes like I put myself in your guys'. I got to go to the underwriter. I got to go to the lender. Can we hold this off? Can we wait to get a response back by then? Yeah, we can't wait until then. We can wait until then. So you see, there's extra steps now I got to take on my back end that I'm taking time and energy out of for you in your file. So please do things as accurate as possible. Hi, Marcus. I'm about to get going. Bio, link click, funding submission form, first button, ViralFundingSolutions.com. You guys can go there as well. And then apply now. There's going to take you to the questionnaire, not the application. but it'll take you to my questionnaire. It should be, or I might change the wording a little bit. But there's also a real estate one, viral, like something going viral, funding solutions with an S at the end.com. And then you can also scroll down, not the first button because that'll take you to my quiz, but if you scroll down, the process, how it works, the button below all those 3 steps or so, click that and it'll take you to my questionnaire, and there'll be more stuff to check out, and you'll get that free pre-approval lending checklist, 6-step pre-approval lending checklist that I created. And all else included, my email, first name Michael, MICHAEL at viralfundingsolutions.com. Hey Marcus, did you ever fill out my form? I thought you did. Sometimes I miss one here or there, guys, because I get so busy. It's nothing wrong. Yeah, I thought I did. But that questionnaire form, if I respond back, is where you want to refer to. Sometimes we're looking for something, by the way. I'm not saying you, but we're looking for something that doesn't exist. Honestly, like your other options would be friends and family, crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding, angel investors, a grant, and just trying to scrap up money as much as you can. And there are some other services out there, but without the right revenue, without the right collateral, or without the right credit, cash flow, credit, collateral, you can have 1 of the 3, 2 of the 3, 3 of the 3 is better. But it is what it is, right? And so if you're a trucker with like lower trucks, if you have 1 truck, like that's going to be harder to get funded. You got to have exceptional revenue to get to where you want to get to, at least the first time around. Even with 1 truck, it's too high of a risk. It breaks down. I don't think I have to say anymore, do I? You have 2, 3 trucks, better. 5 trucks, better. That's what you want to aim for. You want to have at least 5+ trucks operational, not just sitting in the yard or in the garage. At least operate them. Have people that can operate them. Take away from you so you can have them doing your work if you haven't already done that. I don't want to get into the trucking world right now. Like, I know it like that. I know every industry really well. And I created content on trucking. I'm going to have another video maybe tomorrow or sometime next week or sometime soon. But it's a trucking video that's going to describe everything you guys need to know about the trucking industry. Like, you have to have 5 trucks in business. You have to have at least 5+ years for this. You have to have this kind of credit. You have to have this revenue. So your best interest may be just to go down the personal loan route. If you're looking for more, sometimes that will help you, personal/startup loan. But if you don't have credit, your credit is shot. Like, where do we go? You don't have collateral. Well, you're not helping me much. And the crowdfunding, like, okay, well, there's other solutions. Well, what can I do? I'm gonna go apply everywhere, and I'm gonna go find out what I can do because this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Go do it. Go ahead, and then wait till you come back around and you think, okay, I shouldn't have done that. So I know this stuff because I'm in the market every single day. That's everything for now. Appreciate you guys. You are most welcome. Thank you, Marcus, and everybody else in here watching right now. So I do really have to get going. It's almost 2. I'm gonna go take a break. Maybe have a Belvita. Have you guys had Belvitas? I just stocked up from Costco, and I'm gonna go have one. Try dipping that in yogurt, whichever kind, Greek yogurt, Yoplait yogurt. I found that out, and it's a good quick snack. I don't know if you're into yogurt or Belvitas, but man, I have those all the time. I don't even drink coffee. It'd be probably better with coffee. I let coffee go a long time ago. From time to time, maybe one of those things from Starbucks, but I hardly ever go out of my way to do that. As long as only when I'm with family, like if we go out on an event or something for energy wise, maybe. But hardly ever do I do. I haven't been drinking tea. I usually drink tea every day. The ginseng tea, the yellow packet ones from the Asian store, that's my favorite. You're on my good side if that's something you give me as a present. Like that alone, I'm like going crazy for. And I haven't had any of it lately. Been off the tea. Really, everything's been natural lately. I had egg this morning. No juice this time. Water. I'm going to go have a snack. Have dinner tonight. Relax my mind. I'm going to do a workout. I'm going to do lower body. I have to do some squatting. Not heavy weights, just like the little 25-pound side-to-side dumbbells. And then I'm going to do some lunging. And then I'm going to do some up and down. Just try to do a whole lower body workout in one. I know it's not always best, but lower repetition. So then I do some hamstring stuff. And then I do a little bit of my back here. And the tries. And then pretty much rounds it up. I might jump into because I need to relax my mind after a day like this. I need to relax it. And so I may jump into the bathtub with some hot water with some Epsom salt or that magnesium salt bath and just sit in there and cool myself off and then relax a bit and then maybe take a nap. I'll probably go into bed, just like lay there, because it's been a long day. I want to take time away from everybody for a few hours sometimes. So I'll just lay in there, probably look at some content on my phone, relax, some downtime maybe on YouTube. And then if I'm not asleep, already, or if I'm asleep, I'll wake up and then probably go downstairs with family and hang out a little bit more with them and see what we can do, and then have dinner by then, and that's all. So thank you guys again. Once again, have a happy holidays. I'll speak to you guys the next time if you guys don't hear from me live, hopefully after maybe New Year's, maybe before New Year's, but keep looking out for my content. I should be rolling some of that. I have a lot of content already created on the blog, video, social. Spread the word again. I don't say that enough. It's just not my thing, I guess, as an introvert, and I guess you can say that, but please do so. Help out a lot of people in this times, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.